Where banks are silent, we speak. A podcast by You Mushroom.
Welcome to our Swiss Students Investment Challenge 2025. It's a huge pleasure to welcome you all here. I have also the big pleasure to be accompanied today by two of our previous winners. And before I introduce Igor and Alexandros, I would love to say some words around the logistics. So subscription is open since the 15th of September, and the official launch of the challenge, the official start, is the 1st of October. The final is on the 25th of November, and we are pleased to be hosted by Swissquote in its location here in Zurich. Also, I would love to say a big thank you to our partners who are accompanying us on this journey. We have partners from the student organizations, we have partners from the banking and brokerage industry, and also we have partners among the asset managers, and also we have one exchange. So those are BSU, a student organization at the University of Fribourg, who has long years of experience, above 30 to be precise, in organizing investment challenges. We also have X trackers at DWS and Robeco among our asset manager partners. We have you and Saxo Bank, broker and banking partners, and we have BX Swiss, our official exchange partner this year. A big thank you for your support. And now let's move to our guests of this podcast. These are Igor Jovicic, the winner of the Investment Challenge 2022, and Alexandros Zuklis, the winner of the last year National Investment Challenge here in Switzerland. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be there on the podcast with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us today.
A pleasure to have you here. Igor, Alexandros, would you please share some few words about yourself and what drove you to join this challenge with our listeners?
So hi everybody, my name is Igor Jovicic. I was born, in Vaud, so Vaud, Canton de Vaud, so in the French part of Switzerland, and I went to uni in Fribourg. And as you know, BSU, as you mentioned just before, was organizing a contest with you, and I was just like, I wanted to go into finance for a long time. I studied economics, and I think it's always a nice way for students to kind of start getting into investing and into all those financial topics without having money. And I think that's a way to start. It's always to learn, to educate yourself about finance before jumping and starting to invest and doing financial decisions in your life. And I think those challenges were a way for me to learn, and I think that's how I started, and that's how I entered this competition with you. So thank you again for the invitation, and thank you for remembering those good times where I won, and I'm pretty happy and proud to have been part of the journey.
Thank you so much. This is really very inspiring. Alexandros, how about you?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Alexandros Zuklis. I live in Basel, Switzerland. Investment is one of my interests and hobbies, which I do on my free time. I like to read about financial news and see the trends, what's happening in the world through this filter. And the competition I found very interesting as a topic because there are many competitions around the world with in different areas, but at least for me, it was the first time that I came across something so interesting. So I found it a very good idea, an opportunity to join and to compete with other people that have the same interest as me.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing these insights. And it's a very good example for young people to get motivated about investing and to jump on this opportunity to learn how to build wealth. Congratulations. What motivated you to participate in the challenge?
Okay, we do ping pong answers. I think it's my turn to answer. Um, again, I think the motivation is first to learn about the topic of finance. For me, was always like a difficult topic because it's like something that everybody relates with. I think everybody has money, everybody needs money, and everybody wants to do something with it. And when you study and when you don't know what you're doing, sometimes trying with competitions, trying with being part of a community or people that inspire you as well, makes you go further in life and also in this topic of finance. So that's how I started, I think.
That is a very interesting point. You're right. We tend to do out of experience and out of a lot of research in behavioral finance, people actually do things, are inclined to do things together in a group, together with others as opposed to alone. That's interesting. Thank you. How about you, Alessandros?
For me, it was interesting to join in this risk-free opportunity, basically, that you can test your knowledge, you can learn more about how others are approaching the topic of investment, compete, of course, and put in practice all these strategies and learnings which we had during the competition, and try out what works for me and what not. So it was a good test and fun activity to do.
In a way, if I understand you correctly, a preparation for real investing, but just trying it in a secure, close to market, and yet safe environment to train investing skills.
Exactly. You don't always have the opportunity to try risk-free and to compete and test your knowledge. So I found it very interesting to have this opportunity without the pressure that you are going to lose money or that you are exposed. It's very good to try out in this way.
Amazing. And what were your expectations when you entered into the challenge? What did you expect? Did you how did what you've been expecting and then as you go, real experience compare with each other? I think that would help for a lot of our new joiners to see, this is what I'm going to get, or this is how it's going to evolve. So happy to hear your experience with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think on my side, it's always been a way to try risk-free, as you said, Alexandros. I think, when you don't know what a stock is, what, investing in general is, having a platform that allows you to, try and make errors is it's what leads you to success. I think that's what I was expecting. Sorry. I think failing to learn is the best way to learn. So I expected to be honest, not to win. I expected to try and see where I make mistakes, because it's either gonna be luck or it's either gonna be strategy. So I feel like you have to try and see what works best, if it makes sense what I think about. Yeah,
it is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for me, my expectation was to do well, at least not go on the negative side, even if it was not real money, but the credits that we were given in the beginning of the competition. So to see how far I can go to try to position myself in the high positions. But of course, incorporate the learnings during the journey and adjust my strategy, because I didn't come in the competition knowing everything. I think nobody knows everything. You learn on the way, and you adapt and you take the strategies which you find interesting. So I wanted to try and to have fun on the way, which I did, and yeah, do well.
Amazing. So what I'm hearing from what you're telling is learn on the way, in a playful way, try and see what works, basically really the perfect test environment to shape your skills and acquire new knowledge about investing in a secure environment. And What is your favorite moment of the challenge, if you recall it or if you have to share one?
For me, it was when you see the portfolio go up, you're like, oh, what did I do? And then sometimes when you expected something to happen and you see it happening, you feel like, oh, I made something, I created something, I made it happen somehow. It feels like you were part of the evolution of that portfolio, so it feels like it's growing and it's going in the direction you expected, and that's something I liked. I remember that when it went up, I was like, oh yes, it's working. So that's for me. I don't know about you, Alexandros.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Igor. And I would add that I really enjoyed the weekly challenges. So every time when there was a new challenge that was opening or a new learning video, new tasks that were assigned. So it was something fun to do. And I had the time in the train or whenever I could find the time to go through the videos and the tasks and to see them completed was fun. I like that part.
Very nice. It's also what I hear from you is also that it's very easy to embed in the everyday life. That you can really doing seamless next to without taking too much of your time when you're traveling, when you're commuting. And this is exactly what we actually aim with these challenges to show anyone who participates, and in this case, in the new challenge, young people, that investing can be seamlessly embedded as a new habit in your daily routine. Just look for 5 minutes what's happening with your portfolio. See how it is evolving. Also, through the app of your mushroom, you can see the progress. Get into a habit to read the headlines of the news of the new economic newspapers. You don't need to deep dive into everything in the beginning, just piece by piece as you go. And this is exactly what we were aiming at. And we are very happy to hear that we actually managed to motivate you to exactly those type of movements and ideas. And I have a question. What if you have to name 3 skills and 3 lessons, or certain amount, or maybe the main skills and lessons which you developed during the challenge? What would they be? It doesn't have to be necessarily 3. It could be also only 1, whatever you prefer as a number. But like the ones you will say, no, I need to mention those.
Please, Alexandro, I'll let you start now.
Yeah, I can start. Some learnings that come in my mind or important to be mentioned would be to have a strategy, both a short-term and a long-term strategy on what I wanted to do with my portfolio. To take the time to see how my values reflect with the choices that I made for my portfolio. Diversify and learn that there are different sectors that you can allocate your resources, so that when one sector is not going well, then your risk is a bit adjusted. And finally, yes, to understand each choice has a risk for potentially upside or downside. So to take some time to evaluate what are both possible outcomes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Igor,
also
you?
agree. Like the risk evaluation is the first thing, maybe. Also, to be open to read about the news, read about the actualities of the world. I think it helps also get into the mindset of what's happening in this world and why should I invest there or there. And maybe the third one would be to believe in your strategy and to stick to it, because I feel like sometimes, especially in the beginning, you can start doing something and then you realize maybe it's not good, so you change quickly. And maybe if you have had waited 1 week, it could have been the right strategy. So it's always a question of believing in what you do, if you really had the strategy and thought of it. And it can change in a few days or a few weeks. So
This is a very powerful message which you're just giving, and I agree with. This is one of the typical behavioral finance mistakes, particularly if you invest long term. The challenge is roughly 8 weeks, and of course we cannot do it as long as we would love to, because it has to have a beginning and an end, and a beginning and an end which is visible for participants. But particularly when you invest part of your money long term, this is one of the major principles which you learn. Stick to your strategy, because if you change strategy every time there is something on the markets, there is a noise on the market, and the markets are very moody, as you probably figured out. There is a lot of noise. Then you end up literally creating too many transaction costs, and you don't necessarily build long-term wealth. So one of the first things that markets teach is discipline. To your point, Igor, and I'm very happy that this message you worked through it. And also to your point, Alessandros, to deal with risks and diversification is something which you may know the theory, but if you don't roll up your sleeves and start doing it, and ideally you would start investing in a not with real money, just to see what are your reactions when the markets drop 5%. What are your reactions when I remember when we launched, for example, this year's Swiss-wide challenge. It was at the beginning of 2025. It was literally within the period where Trump announced the tariffs. And the first several weeks, the markets are just going only down. And it was interesting to see how people would react. They very quickly accommodated, started looking for opportunities to profit from downside markets. Some actually built up a very clever strategies to buy every time the market was dropping. And exactly this, dealing with the market swings and diversifying risks are two other ingredients next to the discipline aspect, which Igor was mentioning, which really secure long-term investing success. And I'm very happy that you came to these conclusions out of the experience of the challenge. I have another question, which is something very dear to our hearts, and I think it's something which everyone encounters when a person does the first steps into investing. What are the biggest pain points which you encountered before you joined the challenge? Before you got acquainted with, let me hop on your mushroom and I'll start investing. What do you think are the biggest pain points which a beginner faces when it comes to learning to invest or starting to invest?
For me, it's definitely what to invest. Like when you don't know what investing is, the first thing you don't know is what to do. So I feel like it's a broad question for me. It was more like you hear noise around you and you hear you have to do that or that, but at some point, to know what you have to do, you have to learn it yourself. You will never be able to copy someone else, because I feel like it's personal. Money is a personal topic, first of all. You never ask someone how much, I don't know, a car costs or something. You will have to decide if you want to pay that much or not. You can, of course, ask for, information or to learn or where to learn what, but at the end, it's always a personal topic, and that's the hardest. I feel like it's to get into it like yourself, because if you don't, nobody's going to do it for you. Unfortunately, I feel like it's really the main point for me.
So that's super interesting. I'm going to sum up right after we hear also Alessandros, but it's really great insights. Thank you.
Yeah, I think are very valid points what Igor brought up. For me, important was to select a platform where I can feel safe to invest and to allocate money on it. So I think for someone at the beginning, it's important to put some effort and survey on finding a credible platform to invest. And then it's a lot about putting some effort on what part of money you want to allocate that you feel comfortable, that your emotions do not take over. So decide on a specific amount that you say, I'm comfortable to try out the techniques and the strategies I would like to invest. So to not go all in from the beginning, to try start small and then build confidence with the knowledge that you get slowly from reading the markets, seeing the results of your actions, then build the confidence and move from there and decide if this is something for you or you are totally out of your water. So it's something that maybe better not to take. So that's the challenges I would say as a beginner.
Amazing. So what I'm hearing, and these are really some of the biggest pain points, is to the points which Igor mentioned was actually to the how to. How do I start? What are the first concrete steps I need to do? And obviously also how to navigate through the huge amount of investment instruments. And to your point, Alessandro, which you're also saying, and which is very valid, is how to pick up the right place. So, which is basically with the where to, where do I invest, where do I start informing myself, etc., and the amount which you're ready to put at risk without having sleepless nights, without really getting a fear the best out of you, and without getting your emotions running wild, or the emotions of an investor running wild, but operating with a scale which is manageable also emotionally when things turn sour. These are very, very, very important messages, and we believe that this is some of the biggest pain points, really. You need to know where to start, how to start, what are the first steps, what is the amount, what is the criteria over which you need to really look at you. And this is exactly what is the topic of the challenge, to teach people where to, how to, with what amount to, and how to navigate their not only the selection of the investment strategy, but also their emotions. Any unexpected aha moments during the challenge which you would love to share with our listeners and participants?
Unexpected. I would say understanding how the market goes, because I think Igor touched a bit before. When you have a bull market, when you have the winds blowing on your side, then it's blowing for everyone. So everyone is doing well. Then you need to understand what exactly am I doing that contributes to go well with others. But if it is, I mean, this was a competition, so you want to have a better position. But in general, when you invest alone, when the market is going well, also to take time to reflect what I am doing right to contribute. And on the other side, when the market is going down, this is even more important to check the options, at least for me. What am I doing wrong, or do I have still conviction on my strategy, or I need to reevaluate and adjust something? So really take the time and read the situation of the market and strategy and my investments. And these moments were happened a lot during the period of the competition, also.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of the same for me. It's like you realize that it's a bit what my parents used to say, when things go up, think of when they can go down as well. And you have to be prepared to know when to go out as well, especially when it's short term, because that's mostly what the competition is. It's a short term strategy. So knowing when to go out is as important as knowing where to go in. I feel like sometimes we keep it to. I was mentioning before, you stick to a strategy, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay on a position that is really going bad. You have to know when it's bad or when it's just changing, let's say. So I feel like this is the aha moment. It's like it was going up for me, and at some point the next day it was down, and I was like, oh, I should maybe readjust the strategy and be ready to change, because it's again short term. So we have to know that you don't have a lot of time to get back on your feet.
Amazing. Very, very valuable insights, and very good to hear what is the unexpected learning, or the aha moment, as we call it. And how did the challenge change your approach to teamwork and creativity and problem solving?
Oh, I can talk about creativity maybe. I think you have so many options, and you have to believe in, okay, I believe in this to be the next thing, or especially for a short-term strategy, I feel like there is a part of luck. You cannot just rely on your strategy. You have to spread your, let's say, strategy into different beliefs, because you believe that this tech company is going to go up and this is going to go up because you, for example, like I don't know, tech stuff, or you're into AI, so you believe in that. And I feel like there is a bit of that as well, especially for, quick reasoning. You have to go with what your instinct is saying.
Amazing. Very important to learn to trust your instincts, and for that you need practice, because I can confirm that from my own experience. Very often in life, and I've been investing since 30 years, one of the biggest mistakes I did after a period of time where I got experience is not to trust my instincts. You develop those, and if you listen to them, learn to listen to them, that could be very powerful too. Alessandros, how about you?
For me, the competition helped me more on the problem-solving direction, I would say. Before trying to solve the problem, to understand what are the rules of the competition. So the same to understand what are the rules of the market, to understand what options I have, and put time to make a strategy. So yeah, that was the big learning. Before you are ready to master or to win or to perform the best, take some time to learn the basics, understand all possible strategies that you can apply, see which one fits for you, and then approach the problem. So not jump straight to trying to be the best or having the best performance. That's you miss the journey, you miss the fun of learning, and see what are your options that you can try out.
This is a beautiful summary. Thank you so much, Alessandros. And it reminds me of running a marathon. And investing long term is like preparing and running a marathon. It's not like a sprint. And I know from experience that if you run the first half an hour very quickly, you may outpower yourself and really use a lot of the energy. And that is similar like in investing. If you're like jumping behind every really also flashy story and running behind every, oh my God, so cool news, you end up really, as you say, a little bit losing yourself. And this is really one of the key elements. Just think it, start slowly, and trust the journey and the process and the learning. Very, very powerful messages. Thank you so much for that. I have one more question with respect to internship and career impact. And how did winning the challenge, particularly you, Igor, you did an internship with us back then. This was one of the prizes. How did that impact your career path?
Oh, it's a big impact, first of all, because I moved to Zurich. And I feel like also for me, since I was working in different jobs and having different things here and there, I felt like this was my first step into, the big life, I would say. The what's expected after uni. And since I was finishing my master's, also studying economics, I was like, it makes sense for me to go explore a new city and explore also new opportunities. And I felt like for me, it was really a big thing. So first of all, thank you again for everything you did. I think it was also a really great experience for me. I learned so much, especially about myself and what investing is in a broad term. Because I invested in my life, I invested in my time with you, and also with the project that I cared about, and I still care about it. And I feel like your goal is also to teach and to educate people, and I was the first to be educated through that process, and for that I can only thank you and be like grateful for that.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And maybe I don't know if Alexandro, you had something great about the experience in general, but I feel like as a contestant, I felt like valued. I feel like, when you're a student and when you're, I don't know, beginning in life and you don't know what investing is, you feel like you achieved something. And I think just in a broader term, without talking about my personal experience, but if you go in a contest and you realize that you can win something, it makes you, more positive about what can happen in life and what can, happen also if you invest correctly and if you take your life by the horns, and you know where you're going. So
That's a very nice message, I think, Igor. And yeah, I see your point, and I think also even if you don't win, performing well, it's also a boost in your in your mood, and confirming that your skills that you acquired, the knowledge that you applied, you can benefit from it. So you can evaluate success even if you don't win the competition. Performing well in such environment is a positive message for someone, I would say, in my opinion.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Do you still remember what was your best investment back then during the challenge?
I just know I did a portfolio on music that did super well later on, but that I had during the contest and that I kept for like, I don't know how long. And I just realized, why didn't I invest in what I thought was good like 2 years ago? Because I think it was the best portfolio like a few months ago or something on the platform. Because
Amazing.
yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And it was only about music because I'm a musician and I care about music. And I feel like also it's again what I was talking about, instinct. And it's not just about the money, it's also where you believe something
Yes.
is going to, either being productive or better, uh, with better products, etc. And I believed in that at that time. I was doing a master's, and my master's thesis was about like music, and I was like, okay, let's invest in that and see where it's going. And I was right at some point because it went like super high, and I was like, okay. So sometimes it's also about that.
Very much, very true. So, investing is not only about getting the maximum gain; it's also supporting your passion, your the matters of the heart. And we know that you're very passionate for music. And I remember when you were setting up, showing us the portfolio about music. Well, that's really a beautiful story. How about you, Alessandros? Do you remember your best investment or investment which you particularly have an attachment to?
I remember that similar to Igor, I chose quite. I tried to diversify, but I have interest in technology, and this where I tried. I made my best choices. So I think technology sector outperformed at that period of time the market. So I was happy to see that where I put my energy to learn and to pick my choices, they turn out to be the best performance.
Amazing. That passion we share, that we have in common. I also love technology and also started investing rather early in various tech companies. It's super interesting, and I think it's a lot more to come in this field. So we'll be positively surprised, I believe, in a lot of dimensions there. Now, if you have to share, to give some advice to this year participants, what would that be?
I just know I can't do an investment advice, and that's not something we have to do. The only thing I can say is like, try and learn by failing on a competition that allows you to fail, because you won't lose any money, you won't lose any time, because every time you put into that, you learn something new. It's just a positive experience from the beginning, because you will learn something that will be useful for your life, I think. um, because money is something that everybody has to care about in a way, if you want to survive, if you want to invest in your passions and everything later. It's an important topic. And even if you don't find yourself being an investor or something, like, at least you would know that it exists and some people do that in life. And I feel like that's what was important for me, and I feel like that would be my main you know thing to say to people.
Thank you. How about you, Alessandros?
I would say at least what worked out for me is that the most valuable investment is someone can do, I think, is in the knowledge that you get. So investing in knowledge is usually paying out on the long term. You never know what can come out of it. So you can learn about a new topic. It can spark your interest about topics and areas that you didn't know before. So it takes it takes a bit of time, but it's usually a rewarding journey. So even regardless of the topic, if it is investments, if it is financial literacy, it is worth taking the time to learn, to understand about basic terms, about how the markets work. So it's interesting, I would say, or to give it a try, and then someone knows whether that's something for them or not. But you never know how it will turn out.
Amazing. So you have to sum up the from what I'm hearing from you both, it would be open for the experience, just let yourself in, dare it, and invest in your knowledge. These are beautiful messages. If you have to, one last final question before we close, and this is, describe your experience during the challenge with one word.
All in. Joking.
That's a good one.
I would say fun, because I had fun, and the time passed by really well. It was 3 months, but it went by in a very nice way. So I had fun, and I didn't even realize the things, how the things I was learning and so on. It went in a very good mood and pace. So I believe, and I think most participants probably had fun.
Amazing. I'm very happy to hear. So it's all in and fun and knowledge and trust the journey and be your beautiful self. Invest where you believe. Beautiful insights, which we had the pleasure to hear today from you. And we're very happy on behalf of the Team You Mushroom that we actually, what we wanted to trigger and the message which we wanted to convey to our participants came over to you. Incredibly thankful for you sharing your experience, sharing your thoughts and motives around the challenge. And yes, I can only say once again one big thank you, and for being with us today, for inspiring the next journey of young and talented investors. And yes, let's stay tuned. Let's hear what this year contestants are going to achieve. I'm very curious. Thank you. And yes, I wish you a wonderful time ahead.
Thank you, Luba. Thank you, You Mushroom. And yeah, see you.
Thank you, Igor. Thank you, Luba, for having us. And good luck, fun, and knowledge to all the new contestants.
Thank you so much. And to all the new contestants, sign up. It's open, the subscription. We're starting on the 1st of October. Very much looking forward to welcome you on the challenge. And please, should you have questions, don't hesitate to reach us at hello@youmushroom.com. Thank you.
Where banks are silent, we speak. A podcast by You Mushroom.